What made you walk away from your family? My family always said, a daughter's duty is to keep the family's honor clean, even if her own heart is stained forever. I never understood what that meant until my cousin Layla vanished. She was 17 when she refused to marry a man chosen for her. I never saw Layla again. Afterward, her mother wore black to every gathering, and no one dared say her name. But a week after my 18th birthday, I found out what caused her to disappear. My father gathered the family in the living room. He cleared his throat and said, "You'll marry Mr. Haroon. He's a respected man. He'll fix our family's reputation." I'd seen Mr. Haroon at the mosque. He was 44, divorced twice, and known for his temper. Rumors circled about his first wife being sent home with bruises. His second wife left and never returned, not even for her children. My mother sat with her head bowed, twisting her sleeves in her hands. That night, she slipped into my room. She placed her old prayer beads in my hand and whispered, "You must listen. Fighting only brings pain." I saw fear in her eyes. Her hands trembled as she squeezed my fingers. She wiped her eyes quickly and told me to accept my fate. I nodded, but I felt something in me break. The days passed in a blur. I watched my father make calls, arranging the engagement. Mr. Haroon's family visited, bringing sweets and gold. I stayed in my room, listening to the distant conversations. Noura, my 16-year-old sister, started spending more time in the kitchen, helping my mother and watching me with wide, worried eyes. One night, as I washed dishes, I heard my father talking about Noura's future. He said, "After your sister marries, you'll be next." Noura gripped the counter so hard her knuckles turned white. That night, she whispered to me, "Don't leave me here. I'm scared." I realized then that leaving wasn't only about me. If I escaped, Noura would take my place. I couldn't let her live with that fear. I began to save every dollar I could from my job at the bakery, hiding tips in an envelope taped behind the radiator. Each day, I watched the calendar and waited for a chance. On the night before the engagement ceremony, I waited until the apartment grew quiet. I packed my bag with a change of clothes, my mother's prayer beads, and the envelope of cash. My hands shook as I tiptoed down the hall. Noura waited by the door, her eyes red from crying. She looked at me and said, "Please take me with you. I can't stay here." I nodded and pulled her close. Together, we slipped out into the cold hallway and ran until we reached the subway. We rode the train until sunrise, ending up in a neighborhood where no one knew our names. At a shelter, the staff listened to our story and gave us new names and a room. They warned us to trust no one from our old community. The first days were the hardest. Every time someone knocked, Noura jumped. I kept a metal object under my pillow, just in case. We found jobs, working long hours and coming home exhausted. I stocked shelves at a grocery store. Noura washed dishes in a crowded cafe. Sometimes I watched her laugh with other girls, her shoulders finally relaxing. I began to hope we might be safe. 3 months later, everything changed. I walked home and saw my father's car parked across the street. My father, 2 uncles, and the imam from our old mosque stood by the entrance. My heart raced as I pulled Noura behind me. My father blocked our way and said, his voice hard, "You've shamed us. Come home now." My uncle reached for Noura, but I stepped in front of her. I said, my voice steady, "You won't take us. We belong to ourselves now." My father grabbed my arm, squeezing so hard it hurt. I shouted for help, my voice echoing down the block. A neighbor stepped out and called for the police. My father let go, cursing under his breath. Noura clung to my waist, shaking as the sirens approached. The men turned and left before the police arrived, but I knew they wouldn't give up easily. The next morning, we went to court and explained everything. He granted us protection orders and made it clear our family couldn't come near us. Our old community called us traitors and crossed the street to avoid us, but we found friends at the shelter. We started volunteering, helping other girls escape impossible choices. When I hear Noura laugh now, I remember what it cost us to be free.